Hey guys, it's Tuesday afternoon and we have another Speedway chat show. I don't have my mate Childsy here today. He is in Denmark. He's in a taxi at the moment on the way to the airport, and as soon as he is available, he will be coming on and joining us. So we are just waiting on Childsy. So while we're waiting for Childsy, just to kill some time, can everybody just comment below? Let's comment about what you want to talk about tonight, because we've got lots of things to talk about. I've gone through some of the questions already, and I have got some guests lined up to talk about those things. But also, let us know where you're watching from. Also, can you just message and just make Childsy feel bad about not being here on time because he was supposed to. Apparently, he was hungry or something, some really poor excuse. So other things that we need to talk about quickly before we go on. Speedway Chat Show hats. These got delivered this week. I picked them up from Mark Phillips, and I literally got a message just before we went live to say that all orders that came through for the Speedway Chat Show merchandise, there's been a problem with shipping, and they all got shipped today. So you should be receiving them ASAP, and then all of the merchandise should all be back to normal now, and it should be the normal delivery times, whichever it says on the website. So you can go order your merch. We are also doing the gold stars thing. So if you have bought gold stars, you have an amount in your bank, you can transfer some to us, and that helps with pushing the videos out to more people and getting more people watching the show, talking about Speedway. And I think we have a target of 2,000 gold stars. If we get 2,000 gold stars, which is, I think, the equivalent to about 5 coffees. So if we can get all of you guys to donate 5 cups of coffees worth in gold stars, then we're going to give away one of our hats to one of the people that donates some gold stars. So we have a young British rider, somebody we've had on the show before. He's talking about what happened to him in Poland. I think it was this week. So I'm going to bring on Mr. Tom Brennan. How are you, Tom?
Hello. How's it going?
You all good?
Thank you very much for having me.
That's all right, mate. No worries. How's your shoulder?
Yeah, it's okay. Sort of surprisingly okay. I'm sort of moving around and sort of almost being like normal, so it's good.
Okay. And we just spoke quickly before. You've had it operated on, haven't you?
Yes, so I had the operation. I want to say 2 days ago.
Okay.
Just to get the plate all in, so that it can heal properly, and obviously without the bone moving around, and so I can get back sooner. So yeah, all sorted.
Did you have that operation here or in Poland?
In Poland. So I had to do a few sort of funny sort of sign language to sort of get it done, but we managed to get it sorted. So
yeah. So do you want to run through what happened in your accident?
Yeah, of course. I mean, such a shame. And firstly, I'd sort of like to thank everyone that's been such a support through this. And I'd say this is a pretty minor setback. I mean, obviously, massive shame to not be able to ride in the European under-19 final. But you sort of got to deal with what's happening. So went to Poland. Was very lucky to be asked to ride in Poland and to do a few practice days. All went okay. Going up for one of my last rides, come down the straight, and probably one of the worst nightmares. Effectively, the front wheel basically just fell out down the straight because of the fork blade snapped, which went through the handlebars. So yeah, definitely wasn't fun, but happens, and we sort of got to get on with it now. So,
do we have any video of this?
No, unfortunately, I was gutted. No.
Everybody loves a good crash, don't they?
Yeah, especially if it looks cool. So.
Yeah. Did you see the MotoGP crash at the weekend?
Yeah. Oh my God, how mental was that? That is.
Oh my God. I posted about it, and I was saying, you know, I think that's two bikes and 2 pairs of underpants that need to go straight in the bin.
yeah. I mean,
oh my God.
the speeds they're going as well, and for something like that to happen, especially right at the end of the straight as well, and how Rossi and Vinales went, you know, even are still talking now is incredible. So no, that's insane.
Insane. And then Rossi went out in the rerun, you could say, and didn't he come 5th or something? I think like
I can't remember, but
how do you concentrate after something like that happens?
I don't think. Yeah, I don't know. Honestly, that's beyond me. But no, clearly mental. Like they're crazy.
Yeah,
but.
it is. So, so you missed out on your under-19s opportunity.
Yeah.
Gutted.
Yeah, gutted. Yeah.
How old are you now?
I am 19 now, so that was my last chance.
Right.
So even worse, really. But you know,
it is what it is, I suppose.
It is what it is, and obviously we're now just planning and preparing for the under-21s and for any other meetings that we got. And you know, as soon as we got told, look, can't do it, or you know, then we were like, right, plan for other stuff, and that's all we've been doing. So you know.
Yeah. So going out to Poland and practicing, is there a possibility of you getting a ride out there, or up to your injury?
Yeah, I mean it was all a pretty last minute thing. Just sort of got it all sorted out, and it was like a few days before we left. We were like, right, we're definitely going, and is it one of the things I've been wanting to do all my life, and to even practice, especially even ride them tracks, and especially being Roslav as well, you know, and to even be asked to go do it is incredible. And yeah, we went out there and sort of didn't really know what to expect, and obviously as you can imagine, sort of wanted to do well, and as you say, could possibly lead to more future things, because there's no racing in England at the moment. It's obviously a no-brainer to try and get as much as you can elsewhere. But also not to try and rush into things as well, you know. So sort of want to go out there for a practice, get out of the feel what it was like, and obviously this is a bit more feeling than what I wanted, but you know, unfortunately this is what I've been dealt with. And no, I mean, I absolutely loved it. Really, really, really good experience, and honestly can't wait to go again. So.
And was riding Wrocław everything that you was expecting it to be?
Yeah, it's just incredible. It's just such a different layout there. You know, you got team managers, you got coaches, you got juniors, people that are really, really serious about Speedway. That they're trying to help you and coach you. And obviously that alone was already a sort of step ahead, you know. And to go out and actually ride the track as well, and sort of learn a lot from a lot of people. Was a bonus in itself. But yeah, the track was amazing. It was really good. So
yeah, cool. So who did you get to ride? Was you there for Wrocław?
I was there for no,
because they have like other division teams, don't they?
No, I did a team practice with Wrocław team. So yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Did you get to ride with the big boys?
I did, yeah. I managed to go out with Woofy, which was incredible. He sort of definitely showed me the way around, so that was really cool to follow him and to sort of see where he rides, and just seeing the complete different style of how you ride English tracks to how you ride here. And no, I mean, definitely experience that I'll never forget, and hopefully I can have again soon.
Yeah. So it's give you the motivation to push harder.
Yeah.
Get to Poland.
Mean, definitely throws it straight in your face of this is either what you want to do or this is not what you want to do. It's a very, very intense sort of environment, but you either love it or you hate it, and I definitely loved it. So
yeah, there's something I've always said about the Australians. You know, people turn around and say, well, why do the Australians come over here and they do so well in Europe and stuff like that, and there isn't a massive amount of English riders that have sort of stepped up to that top level, if you know what I mean. And I remember going to Poland a few times, and I remember seeing like Rowan Tungay and people like that just hovering around, you know, and they're making that opportunity for themselves.
Yeah.
You know, they're making people know that they're there, and you know, that's obviously what, like yourself and Anders Rowe's just gone out to Lesnar, hasn't he? And he's riding out there and stuff.
Yeah, as you say, I mean that's one of the biggest parts of it, is definitely get your name out there. Getting out to do the practice sessions and go, look, I'm here to race. I want to race Speedway, and this is where it all starts. You know, so
yeah,
no,
they're not looking in England, are they? They're not coming to Eastbourne, or they're not coming to
no,
Somerset and watching you. Though.
Yeah, and that's where it's quite sad, really, is because there's a lot of people that sort of rely on that, and unfortunately, the bigger leagues are in Poland. I mean, definitely not saying that England is easy by any means, because England is definitely still very, very good racing. But you know, I think Poland is where you need to be at the moment. But
yeah,
no, different level. Yeah, different level, really. But
okay, cool. So we'll sort of transition into our next subject, and that is, I've seen a question here earlier. Let me have a look, see if I can find it. Here we go. So it's this one here. Don't want to hear anything about the GPs. Well, we're going to talk about the GPs. The GPs are starting next weekend, but could we talk about how us as fans could encourage more people to attend British Speedway? Hey, it's Childsy. How are you, Childsy?
Yeah,
just in the middle of the question. So
crack on.
Just jump in whenever. So let's start from the beginning. All right, could we talk about how us as fans could encourage more people to attend British Speedway? Could we do more on social media, like sharing PR, not just liking? Find out and how to share why young people aren't interested in supporting their local teams / Speedway. So, you know, I think this is what we were talking about last week, and that's, you know, there's a massive divide between who goes to Speedway now and who should be coming to Speedway. You know, we don't have that younger audience, and you know, let's go from your point of view as a rider. You know, what do you think that Speedway could be doing to make Speedway more glamorous or interesting for those younger people? You know, your friends that you went to school, how many of them go to Speedway?
Yeah, as you say, mate, it's one of them sort of questions I think everyone wants to know the answer to. I think it's almost, obviously, very, very big shame that people aren't as interested. But it's obviously finding the reason why. Whether it's down to, obviously, as we said last time, maybe Speedway isn't quite the show that nowadays people want to see. It's obviously quite expensive to go to, and for the amount you get to watch and the amount you get to do, some people might not see that as good value for their money, which is a shame, because, you know, people like me and you know, that's great, but it's people my age that are sort of in uni, maybe
Did you think I was your age then?
What's that?
I said, did you think I was near your age?
You might, yeah, you might.
No, I'm nowhere near your age, but I like you for thinking like that.
No, I mean, it's obviously that sort of disposable income that people need, and for people my age that are in school, that are trying to sort of create their own life as well, you know, it might be quite hard for them to sort of say, look, let's go out for a weekend, let's go do this, when maybe they've got their uni bills, or maybe they've got stuff they've got to do as well. But as far as goes on social media, I think it's a very hard thing to do anyway. I think, you know, companies, people try and get the social media thing sorted, but there isn't an answer to social media. It isn't like, look, do this, do that, and you're sorted. You know, it's takes many years, and you sort of need the right.
See, I don't know if I agree with that. Right, I think that what you could do is you could go and take what's being done right now and say, right, lay it all out on the table and go, right, what is Speedway doing to promote to young people, and take everything that they're doing and go, right, who does that relate to? You know, for instance, they do the Speedway GB quiz once a week on a Friday night. Brilliant for the fans that are already fans.
Right? No, I agree.
That quiz isn't relatable to people who's never been to Speedway. So that there isn't promoting Speedway. That's keeping the audience they already have going. Yeah.
Of course.
And also
Being a
the
bit
other
harsh
thing.
on the kid, Jerry.
No, I'm not. I'm just saying. This is my point of view of it. You know, but also, who in their 15 to 30-year-olds are sat in on a Friday night doing a quiz?
Yeah, I mean, yeah. You're dead right there. You sort of go on Facebook, you look at it on a Friday night, and people are out and doing their own thing, and yeah, you could sort of say Speedway just got a quiz going on, which personally I don't watch the quiz, you know, because that's something that doesn't really interest me, and for people my age as well, it probably wouldn't interest them. Whereas you sort of look at the F1, maybe MotoGP, social media, and it's funny, you know, it's funny, and you sort of click on it and you go, oh, look at that, that's fun, you know, it's good to watch and it's exciting. And
brilliant, yeah.
Not saying that Speedway aren't doing the right thing. I think they're probably doing everything they can, but there is probably a bit more improvement they could do. But as you say, it's pretty formal and direct at the moment to people that are already interested, you know.
That's the thing that a lot of our viewers have been saying is Speedway's slow to react, Tom, in terms of moving with the times and things. So I guess what Jerry just asked you the question, if you weren't involved in Speedway, apart from the motorcycle racing, what else is there that could attract you as a 18, 19, 20, 21-year-old? Is it having a disco type thing after it, or is it is it making it into a nightclub, or is it entertainment during it? That, you know, it's $1 million question. It always has been for Speedway.
I mean, if you ask anyone, especially probably even you guys, straight after a meeting, back in the day, riders would go to the bar after the meeting, and you could meet riders, you could actually socialise with them, and it was more a sort of friendly environment that you could maybe go meet your favourite rider if you wanted to after a race, you know. Whereas now it's more, people have flights to get, people want to get on, you know, they maybe don't want to spend as much time with people, which is a shame. But, you know, I guess that's also the times moving forward, and Speedway need to sort of move with that as well, you know.
It's funny you mention that. Like when we first come over, I first come over in the late 90s, man, I just thought it was brilliant. We just waited until they kicked us out of the away track. You know, the away and home tracks. It was, you just stayed until the death. And man, I remember when Craig rode for Poole in 2000. We'll get home at 4 and 5 in the morning. It's a 2-hour drive.
Yeah, but that's also like memories, you know, as well. You sort of make memories there, and you make good, you know, you have a good time as well as the Speedway. Whereas now it's more Speedway, you sort of have a good time or you don't, you know, and that's all for offer. So where's he gone?
I think Childsy's gone. Right, I'm gonna bring in. So I've got Gary Flint here, because I know at Berwick they have a really good mixture of younger and older people, and it'd be interesting to hear his point of view of what he thinks from like Berwick's point of view. How are you, Gary?
I'm all right, yourself?
Pretty good. So you obviously just heard what we were just talking about. Do you agree, disagree, or like? It's very different from a management side to a rider side. You know, there's many different aspects to how a Speedway meeting is run. Yeah,
there is. It's I mean, at Berwick we put a big onus on it being a family sport. You know, we treat our riders as family and expect them to do the same with the fans and the guys that are paying their money. We do a lot around the town, and kids go free tickets with a paying adult and all stuff like that. We like to produce cool merchandise so the kids think, you know, when they're wearing it out and about, that they look cool. But yeah, I mean, Tom kind of hit the nail on the head there a bit, really, with, you know, back in the day when the guys could go to the bar afterwards and have a good drink and and the fans got to socialise with the riders, and that was one big thing of when I was growing up and when I rode as well. That was great. But I think one of the main things for us was we had Kevin Doolan in the team, and anyone that knows Kevin Doolan knows that he went wherever it was in the country to ride his bike and have fun and have a good few years afterwards. So that obviously made things a lot easier for us. There's obviously multiple things that can be done and can't be done, and the social media is a big aspect of it. But how big of aspect is it really? I mean, I'm not so hot on the social media side of things. You mentioned the Speedway quiz, and I think it's absolutely right what you're saying. It isn't going to entice new fans, but Speedway as a sport in this country, we all think it's great. How do we get that out on a social media platform to show newcomers it's great? I think it's
so for instance, social media is where I work mainly, and when I go and pitch to people who go, do we need to do more on our social media for our business and stuff like that? And I say yes, obviously, every time. Back in the day, the best advertising space was on the back of the toilet door, right? And the reason it was on the back of the toilet door is because when you sat on the toilet, you're just like, oh, you're looking around and you see it and you'll read whatever it says. So if there's an event coming up and people will see it. But what do people do nowadays? When they sit on the toilet, they get the phone out. So they're not even looking on the back of the toilet door anymore. Times have changed. No one's going to buy a newspaper anymore. People aren't even watching the adverts that are on the TV. A lot of people I even speak to don't even have a TV subscription anymore. They're just using their Netflix and YouTube and things like that as their source of watching content. And these are all the places where you can be advertising, and the people that are using these facilities of the YouTube and things like that just for watching their TV content now are all in that demographic that we're trying to attract to Speedway.
Yeah, I think you're totally right. I mean, me personally, I'm no social media button at all. Scott Courtney does all our social media, and when we go to AGMs and stuff like that, people are always raving about what we do on there. So that it must be good, but how do we get it out there to people that don't actually come to Speedway? Well, for us, usually from the Wednesday to the Friday before a meeting, we do a like and share competition. That gives away a 10 free tickets to the meeting on that Saturday night. Generally, that does bring some new guys in. So, yeah, I mean, there will be lots that we can do, a lot that we can learn from and push on, and that's certainly something that we are looking into doing.
Gary, have you got any headphones? Have you got any headphones to plug into your laptop by any chance?
I haven't.
No, it's Gary for sure. No, okay. There's a little bit of interference, and I think it's because your laptop, when the audio is coming out of the laptop, and then your microphone's attached to it as well, and it's giving this like feedback.
Or maybe just because I live in Barrett, miles away from anywhere.
Maybe. Try turning your laptop volume down just a little bit.
How's that?
Can you still hear us? Perfect.
I can still hear you. There you go.
There we go.
Modern.
There you go. I don't even need to
technology.
Yeah. I think there's lots of things to do, and this is a conversation I was having last week with somebody, not on the show but afterwards, and that's we've got to be looking at what people are interested in the demographic that we're after. If, for instance, you want the 15 to 30 year olds to turn up to Speedway, then we need to look at what do 15 to 30 year olds look at. What are they spending all their time, on their phone, when they're sat on the toilet, when they're sat at work, whatever they're doing, what are they looking at? and how do we relate to those people? You know, I used, for instance, like Nitro Circus. You know, what Nitro Circus put up mainly isn't the stuff that goes on during their shows. It's stuff that is their lifestyle of who the characters are, and building those people up, like you were saying before, as having riders as idols or someone that they look up to. Well, portraying the life that they lead and showing the fans who they are, you know, makes them their idol or someone that they aspire to be like. I don't see that in Speedway at all, you know, and I don't know if that's down to the riders to do that or.
Yes, I think what we do at Berwick is we've been at the local schools, like the primary schools, and generally their parents are going to be in that age demographic, you know, 25 to 35 or whatever. And one thing that we done that was very, very successful for us was we done a 6 weeks of summer where we took a load of the riders into the school, you know, done a big presentation on what Speedway was and the safety of riding your bike and this and that and the other, and we give away these free tickets. And at the end of the summer, if we had 5 of the 6 weeks stand, we got the riders to give a load of old merchandise, whether it be helmets or gloves or goggles or whatever, and signed it all. And it all went away in a raffle. That worked really, really well for us, and that's something that we built on year since we started doing that.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's all right for us because we're a Saturday club, but the guys that run during the week are going to have a lot more issues than we are as a Saturday club, because, you know, the kids can stay up a bit later on a Saturday, and if, for instance, you ride on a Wednesday night, it's going to be a lot harder for them to look at the younger
kids. Yeah.
You know, it's a lot more different for us at Berwick being a weekend team than it is for a lot of the clubs.
Yeah. Tom, what's your thoughts?
Oh, mate, it's obviously, again, it's hard. You have to look at it across the whole of Speedway. You have to admit that the Grand Prix Speedway, their social media, their way that they promote things, I think seems to be pretty good. Compared to possibly British Speedway's social media side of things.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe we could
in British Speedway's defence, they don't have the budget to do what the Speedway GP do.
Yeah, but I mean, but you have to look at it as well. I mean, British Grand Prix Speedway are putting, all it is top 5 biggest crashes. I don't know, or something like that. All it is just videos, clip-its that are really exciting. Bang them out. People go, wow, that's cool that hurt, you know, and then they share.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, whereas with the British Speedway, the exact same as what we spoke about before, you know, a quiz and stuff like that, which is great, you know, which is great for people again, but whether there's a clear answer to do it, and obviously, as you say, with Berwick doing the, you know, the raffles and all the things within the club is great. You know, you need that because it sort of brings that family environment to Speedway, you know. But you know, where do you start? It's such a hard thing to try and manage. But
yeah,
you know,
like I was saying, with the quiz, it definitely has its place. It has a place to keep people engaged and things like that who are already followers. I'm not dissing that, but that's the only thing that I can really see that is that comes out of it week in, week out.
I see as well. Yeah, without a doubt.
Yeah. Let's. I'm getting messages now. It's coming through to my phone. And this is where Childsy would be handy because I can go and have a look at the other things while he's talking, but he's not here. But yeah. So, is there any hope of any meetings in Berwick, Gary? Is that completely gone for this season?
there is. We're still talking amongst ourselves. We still want to put Speedway on for the fans and for the sponsors, and we could hopefully be in a position to decide on what we're going to do with that pretty soon. So, yeah, we've never given up from the start. We've had everything in place or ready to put in place pretty early. So yeah, it's just kind of waiting on what and where kind of thing. So yeah, we are looking to put something on. What it will be and when it will be, we don't know yet.
Right. 2 seconds. I'm just looking at my goal things, and it's. Don't worry. I'm trying to see who's put. People are asking who's putting gold stars, and I can't get to it without. Yeah, it's a thing to help promote the page, because we actually got nominated because we mainly do live videos. And this feature in Facebook is only for live videos. So it's really cool because it pushes the videos out to more people. But it's a nightmare trying to see what it is while trying to engage with you guys. So Tom, have you got any meetings in the UK that have been spoke about? You know, obviously after, how long are you going to be out for? That's the other thing I was going to say.
Practicing in 9 days. That's the plan.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so trying to get back, you know, as soon as I can. Like I said before, I probably will scream like a little girl when I get on a bike in 9 days, but we'll see how we go. So
that was mine and Gary's tactics when we used to ride, wasn't it, Gary?
Yeah,
scream like a little girl.
We didn't like going fast, did we?
Yeah, no. Yeah.
Have you ever told Tom the story about when you run your mum over?
Oh, I knew you was going to say that. He was talking about me. Don't listen to him.
Don't listen to him.
And we have spoke about it. Yes. It was where the hell is these things? Sorry, 2 seconds. Let me find the things. Where's bloody Childsy when you need them? Okay, no worries. Yes, I did run my mum over. Oh, do you know what I did this week?
Oh.
So, right, when I was about 12, we went skiing, right? And my brother went over the tip of my mum's skis, and she was like freaked out and fell over, like literally just sat down, and she like smashed her knee to pieces and had like ages where she like her knee was completely knackered, had its surgery on it and all sorts. And then when I was 17, I run my mum over, and she had like, yeah, it was pretty bad. Like she crushed part of 3 vertebrae in her back, cracked her shoulder blade, cracked her head open. She had like serious amount of time off work. Stopped her going Speedway. What's that?
In your car?
What did you say? No, on the bike.
On a bike? Oh, that's right. I thought you had a car.
No. I was like in the apex of the bend, and the bike lifted, and I just went across the centre green. And she was taking photos, and she held the phone up, the camera up against her head, and the bike just wiped her out head to toe. So anyway, right. So that's what my injuries that my mum gets. Right, on Friday, I said to a few of my mates, I said, "Anybody fancy going climbing?" And everybody was busy, had something on, didn't fancy it, whatever. So I said to mother, I said, "Do you fancy coming?" She goes, "Well, I'm not doing anything." And she wasn't really keen. So I talked her into it. Anyway, she gets there and she's climbed up a few of these things. She's like 65 or something. No, she's not really. She's going to kill me or something. No, she's like 54. But she's climbing up these things, and she did really well. And then the last one, I said, "Go on, just do it one more time. Just you'll feel like you've achieved something in a minute." So she climbs all the way to the top. As she's coming back down, she slips her hand, falls from the top of the thing, lands on the crash mats, right, and she's bust her knee. She's had to go and have x-rays on it yesterday. She's on crutches hobbling around the house now, and I'm like, oh dear, she don't have much luck, mother. Especially when me and my brother are involved. Yeah, right, here we go. We've got some gold stars. Oh, wow. Dave Drummond, 1,000 stars. Thank you very much. Who else we've got here? 50 stars, 100 stars. Oh, we're getting lots of stars tonight. We must have gone over that 2,000 tonight. Skippy, 200. Yeah, wicked. Yeah, right. Let's get back to Speedway Chat Show. So, Gary, do you know any good, decent, up and coming young riders?
Yeah, there's a kid called Tom Brennan. Lives down Eastbourne, I think.
Yeah.
Quite prone to an accident in the last couple of years.
Accident prone.
Yeah, we've got I say a young lad. I think he'll be about the same age as Tom up in Berwick. Mason Watson. He come through the Duns Academy that we opened up. He raced motocross with Leon and tried to go at Speedway. What we are now, I'd say, he started last year and got to sell a team spot with Armadale in the National League this year. He's gonna. I think he should get going pretty good. So there's him local to Berwick, and obviously the lads that have come through our academy in the Northern Junior League. You know, the young Sam McGurk, Luke Harrison. They're all going pretty good now. So, you know, the future's pretty good for GB Speedway, I think, anyway.
Yeah. I was more getting at the fact that your son's all right on a Speedway bike, but he's the only person you didn't mention then.
Yeah, but we can't really talk about him, can we?
No.
We had a bad day in Divotsov, didn't we, Tom? So we'll leave Leon out. But no. He's Leon. I mean, Leon's doing what Leon does, and Tom will tell you it's tough when they haven't been racing, and the guys in Europe have been racing. So it's once they get going flat out again, and the under 21 World Team Cup's coming up again pretty soon. I think it'll be interesting, and the youngsters should do all right.
Yeah. How old's Leon now?
He's 17.
12.
Yeah. Well, for years, I've always thought Leon's about 15, and he's just seemed in my head he's been about 15 forever. But he was actually a lot younger than that. But he sort of hung around with the older boys, and he was just an older kid than he is, and he just seemed to have always been bloody young. A bit like me, I suppose. Right, here's a controversial one. So Ian Jordan, thoughts on scrapping the tired GP format and going back to a one-off world final with qualifiers found. That's what I think it's supposed to around the globe from January to September, where hundreds can enter. No one knows who final 16 will be. Do you agree with that? What's your thoughts on that, boys?
I think that would be pretty cool. One night final again. I think the atmosphere for a one night final must have been incredible for that. But you know, I think there'd be too many people probably don't want that again. So I think maybe the GP format at the moment is quite good. But whether they want to do that, they can. But you know, it'd be pretty big decision.
Yeah. For me, I'm a fan of the GP series. You know, nobody's winning that because they're not good. You know, like somebody can have a lucky night, and you know, people can go out and have a good night and be unstoppable for that one night. And are they a world champion? It's don't know.
But then they still have to get through all the qualifiers, don't they? So it still would be a pretty.
They do, but I mean, with the Grand Prix series as it is, you know, you've got the top 16 riders in the world, you know, who are doing that series. There's lots of money in that because of the amount of TV rights and all the rest of it. So, you know, they're just never going to get the same TV rights with, you know, a one-off final that they do for 10 rounds all over the world. But I do get it, and I do think it would be exciting. Maybe there's something else that they could do that they could run alongside the World Championship that was, you a big prize fund or something. I don't know. I like the idea of a one-off final, but I think for the Grand Prix series is good as how it is, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So, Tom, what do you do when you're not racing Speedway?
Oh, honestly, probably spend almost 100% of my time with my girlfriend. That's all I do.
On your girlfriend, did you say?
With my girlfriend, yeah, that's all we do. Whatever the boss wants to do is what we do. So, that's how it works. But, no, I mean, I'd say I'd like to keep myself busy. With the workshop is probably one of the main things that I do. So it's either it's workshop, girlfriend, or racing. So that's how it works.
Right. Why do you think this goes out to both of you? Just shout out if you want. Why do you think the top riders seem to be given riding in Britain a miss in recent years?
Money.
I think we spoke about this the other day. Do you think it's money?
100%. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think if you look back in the day, the amount of riders, Britain was the place to be. People could say it's the tracks and stuff like that, but riders were still coming from overseas week in, week out to race in England, without a doubt. And the only thing that's changed is the crowds, which then meant the money goes down, and I think that's the main reason. But I could be wrong. I'm just speaking out loud.
Yeah, and yeah, we're not the show's not about slagging Speedway off or anything like that. It is all about our opinions, and hopefully maybe people might find what we do and say is worthwhile, and maybe hopefully make some changes, but we'll see. Right, just people saying where they're watching from. 2 seconds. What's this one here saying? Right, Lee Trigger, Ben along with three other 125 young lions hopefully had a session with a triple world champion Jason Crump yesterday, set up by his sponsor ATPI, which we found very helpful. Would there be any chance of more of these sessions and run them with the boys going from the tapes and racing under tuition, as at the moment they cannot go from the tapes and race as a current insurance does not allow it, apparently. All the other countries allow practice and teach their young riders racing from the tapes. What do you think to that then, boys? Apparently they had training with Jason Crump, but they wasn't allowed to go from the tapes. I thought the amateur racing was allowed from the tapes.
Yeah, it's a pretty tricky one. So with obviously insurances, so when you do a international meeting or race in England, you obviously have start permissions, you have insurances that cover you for that. But when you're doing a practice day, some insurers won't do it because it's classed as sort of like a track day. So some insurers will sort of maybe turn an eye to it. But I mean, I think he's definitely right that you learn so much more from being in a race environment. I think just from going from the tapes and doing the first corner, you'll learn more doing that all day than you would do by doing laps on your own, which is sort of a no-brainer. I think everyone sort of knows that, but it's sort of finding that mix. I know that some tracks can do it, and I know that you probably could do it, but it's just whether it's allowed in some tracks. I'm not too sure, but I've never been stopped doing it if I sort of did it with someone, so it's down.
Yeah. I think it is down to the local council. I think is the person that's having the say at the moment, isn't it? I think, is that right, Gary?
Yeah, I think with the insurance side of things, it all depends on what said club insurance takes out. Obviously, an open practice insurance is a lot cheaper than a race insurance. So I would imagine clubs will just be taking out the open practice insurance, as it's probably been sold to them as a practice, So that's the only reason that stops that. There's so many different kinds of insurances out there for different events, just within Speedway. So there's a few things in there that would stop that. It's obviously a great idea. You know, all these kids know how to ride, but they need to know how to race. So that's something that needs to be looked at for other sessions moving forward. Anyway.
Yeah. So there's someone here saying, go, Tom.
No, sorry, mate. Go on. No.
Okay. Got to get youngsters involved in the sport. So hard. There's so many. I just sat in front of computers. Now, you guys at Berwick you've got a practice track, haven't you, that people can just turn up and ride on? Is that right?
Yeah, we do. Just a short way out of town, and that's something that we're looking to get back into. Obviously, COVID stopped that. We had some good plans for this season, but we'll look to bring that in again next year, and get kids up there, get them out, and get them on the bike. That's what we want to do.
So do you have the ability to have someone, for instance, who's never been on a bike before to go and have a go?
We do have hire bikes, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I was chatting to Mark Phillips at Plymouth, and he was looking into, or he may have already done it, in getting like a little 125. So, you know, kids can come along and have a go at Speedway and sort of go, oh, I like this, Dad. And, you know, the dad isn't going out spending thousands on kit. And then the kid turns around and goes, actually, I don't like this at all.
Exactly. I mean, when we done it, obviously pre-COVID, we had a little Revy electric bike, a CRF 50, a pit bike, a 125 Speedway bike, and you know they could take the steps up and up and up until you know they got onto a Speedway bike.
Cool. So we got here the product, the price, no social media in the 80s, and it was packed at tracks. I think we're in a very different time to that.
100%.
You know, I think
the product hasn't changed.
Very different.
If anything, I think the product's got better. We're a lot more professional now than we were back then. But yeah, the price, we've got to move with the times. You know, these kids deserve to be riding in England for Polish money. There's no doubt about that. You know, they're putting their lives on the line to put a show out for fans. They should be getting paid more, but you know, the economic climate that we're in here, we can't do that. So, you know, we've got to price it right, and the riders have got to also do the same. So, the product hasn't changed for me. I think it's only got better.
Yeah. So this is something I said last week, and somebody else mentioned it in the comments earlier. What do you think that the fans can do? What's your opinion, Gary, on what the fans could do to help bring on younger people or just more people coming to Speedway?
Just go and tell them, mates, what a great time they've had. You know, I know that there's a lot of talk about gate and go. Well, you tell me about one meeting that you've watched from Poland that isn't exactly the same. You know, there is excitement happens, whether it's the score that keeps it exciting, or whether it's a few races, or whether it's a crash. There is excitement in every single Speedway meeting. They can't say that that Poland's product is far better than ours. It isn't. All they've got is a higher class standard rider. Yeah, you know, the racing is.
And this is what we were saying last week as well, is that the fact that the tracks are so perfect. You know, they are super grippy or they're super slick, but they're always like billiard tables, aren't they? You know, and they're nice, big, fast tracks, and that kind of makes for boring racing. You know, there isn't much passing because there's so much space, and you know they're going so fast, and all wheels are in line all the time, and things like that. You know, where those potholes that are in English tracks that people are bouncing off of and things like that make it that little bit more exciting, a little bit more tricky, isn't it? You know, I think British Speedway is good, and it's not the racing that needs to change. I think the racing is fine, and you know, I've been to National League meetings that have had great racing in, because all the riders are all the same ability. That's, I think where the big thing is as well. And something else that I was talking to somebody about is, before there was a massive difference in the Elite League, Premier League, and Conference League. There's a big step up each time, and I think now the Elite League, which is now Premiership, and the Premier League and the Championship, there isn't a massive difference now between them. A lot of them, the top boys in the Championship are doubling up into the Premiership and things like that. So, you're not watching a big difference in the race quality anymore, which is I feel a bit of a shame. But then, I don't know. What do I know?
I think if you take 10 to 15 riders out of the Premiership, you've just got the Championship.
Yeah, for sure. Let's have a look at some more questions. There's someone there saying about Tom. And has anybody else got any more questions for the boys?
Bored of me.
What's that? Yeah, I don't know. My thing with the fans and stuff, the fans that turn around, I've been stood in the grandstands before, and you hear people just going, "Oh, this is shit, and the track's rubbish," or it's processional racing and things like that. And it really winds me up, that, and you see it all over social media, that they go, "Oh, I went to Somerset and the racing was crap," or "I went to Ipswich," like wherever. It doesn't matter where the track is, but anybody who is not a fan of Speedway and they see that on social media, that you're a fan and you're saying how terrible it is, it's the last place that I'd want to go and spend my 20, 30, 40, 50 quid that I'm going to spend that night to go for entertainment, because the people who go week in, week out are saying how shit it is.
Yeah.
It's yeah. I think
we went.
Yeah.
Sorry, so when I was in Wroclaw, we managed to go watch a meeting in Wroclaw. So it was like my first ever Polish meeting, and obviously didn't know what the hype was about. And I think from what you guys were saying before, it's obviously hard to pinpoint what it is, but as they're going into the last lap, you've got fans that are screaming at each other from each end of the stadium. You've got the commentator that's like screaming his lungs about. You've got people stood next to us that are like about to blow us off our chairs because they're getting that excited that they're about to get 5-1. It's all such a massive rush of like, whoa, what's going on? And you sort of get into it yourself even more so because everyone else is doing it,
Yeah, for sure.
As you said before, when you go to other tracks, maybe in Britain, that unfortunately some fans may say, yeah, look, the racing's no good, he's, moaning maybe quite a bit. Then other people start doing that as well, and I think that's maybe one of the main differences, is purely just that they're doing something right, but what it is I don't know. But it's just such a different.
Yeah.
It seems to be such a different atmosphere there than what it is here. But
for sure. I watched the meeting. Was it last night there was a meeting on? Was it Gorjov? Last night, I think it was.
Yeah.
And there was a clip of all the fans in the stands, and they're all going along like this.
Yeah.
And there's like hundreds of them. With the whole COVID thing, maybe they shouldn't have been doing that. But, they're all singing, they're all chanting around like we see here with the football. Maybe it needs that nutter that's in the crowd that, you pay some bloke who's like a crowd star, and he's just getting everyone going and singing, and he's got a trumpet or whatever he's got, but I think it needs that one person at every track that's going to get people going and get that atmosphere going.
It's obviously tricky because, as you guys said before, I think that you could go to Berwick, you could go to pretty much any place in England and still watch better race than you would in Poland. But I think it's just purely that sort of environment that you're in. That racing then becomes 10 times better than England because you've got people next year that are going mental. but it's how you get that in England. But again, it's people that are watching Speedway in Poland are sort of younger as well. You know, some of them, you know, are sort of younger as well, and they sort of want to do that. Whereas some people a bit older maybe wouldn't want to do that. They maybe wouldn't want to stand and shout and scream their lungs away. You know, they sort of want to go watch a Speedway, and it's obviously find that fine line of what level, you know, what level you get that. But,
and there is that, you know, you don't want to upset the fans that already go and things like that. But I think the fans that do go and they're not interested in all the screaming and shouting and, you know, getting enthusiastic about it, then they've got to understand that why that's happening. You know, it's not to push them out. You know, maybe you have a different section that they go and stand in or whatever it is, but you know, we've got to push it on from where it is now to attract that younger audience. And you know, well, we could carry on forever talking about, you know, what we could do. It's you know, it's got to come from somewhere up above that goes, yeah, we're going to give that a go or whatever. So we've got a question here for you, Tom. This is for Tom. What's the targets and ambitions for next season?
Next season.
Well, have you got any for this season?
This season or next season?
Well, next season's going to be your full season, isn't it? So.
Yeah. I mean, as you say, for the rest of this year, I'd love to keep going abroad, keep doing these under-21 meetings that I really enjoy doing, and I think to get and hopefully to do these under-21 meetings, do these meetings that are quite high standard, could then maybe promote me to something even more next year. But I think my target for this year is obviously keep improving, to keep getting these bigger meetings, and to hopefully get myself sorted for next year, whether that might be Poland, whether that might be hopefully Sweden, whether that would be a top, you know, definitely try and get a top league spot in England. You know, that's my aims. But, you know, obviously with everything that's happening at the moment, it's obviously hard to say that, but I definitely want to try and obviously up the level, but it's obviously easy saying that now, you know. But.
Does Tom think he would be ready to race if called up for Speedway Nations?
Yes. No matter what.
Yes.
No, I mean, I'd love to. I actually love to. Obviously, it's a complete different level, but I'd 100%.
Right. What about Leon?
I think Leon would say he's ready. I think he would need a hell of a lot of meetings before that, but yeah, these young guns are ready to go all the time, aren't they? It's totally different to how it used to be. This Team GB setup they've got has got them going great, and yeah, they're a great bunch of lads, and I think any one of them would be happy for a call up.
Yeah. So I'm just going to say, I've just checked 2 seconds ago with the gold star things. We are 200 away from hitting the 2,000 target, which means that I will give away to somebody who has donated some stars. I'll give away the other Speedway Chat Show hat that we have here. So if we hit 2,000 tonight in this show, then I'll give that away to somebody. This question's for you, Gary, because I'm sure Tom doesn't remember when there was uprights. Did you ride an upright, Gar?
I did.
I did, yeah.
Yeah.
That's my first bike. What's your thoughts?
I don't think so much laydown. I just think the technology and the engine tuners have just gone to next level now. Like the way the engines are, the offsets and the baby offsets, they don't tend to like grippy tracks anymore. You know, we've said for a long time that slick is the new grippy, and that's how these engines work on. So I don't think it's so much the laydown engines. I just think it's that everything's just got faster and faster and faster, and it's just evolved through time. And you know, you can't have the tracks like you used to anymore.
Yeah, for sure. what Tom mentioned, the comments telling fans what's going on throughout the race, MotoGP, Supercross, etc. Commentator gets excited during the race. It makes it exciting. Totally believe that. Oh, here we go. We've had a few more gold stars. Adrian Smith, Aaron Vale. There we go. I think we've hit our 2,100 stars. So I will give away after the show. I'll look through who did the gold stars, and we'll give away Speedway Chat Show hat. So thanks very much for that, guys. The last few questions, and because we've just gone over the hour, so let's see what we got here. Here we go, Tom. Which rider would you say is your idol?
My idol. Who can I say? Probably got to say probably Ty Wuffenden. At the moment, I think he's always been there, and obviously injuries he's come through. So, no, I'll definitely say him.
Cool. Gary, who's your idol? Don't say Leon, please. you can't let him have a big head like that.
No.
Absolutely not.
I think present day would be Kevin Doolan. Kevin's everything as a management team is what you want. He's a great captain. He's a great coach. He's everything you want to be. So yeah, Kevin would be present day anyway. Going back, I'd probably have to say Rob Grant from back in the day.
Okay. Cool. Right. So apparently I just got Adrian Smart's name wrong. I called him Smith by accident. Sorry, Adrian. But right, boys. I think we'll wrap it up and we'll leave it there. But it's been a good chat. I think we've discussed a lot of things, and I think it's good to get this out in the open and talk about what's if we never say anything, then how's it ever going to improve?
Yeah, definitely.
No, you guys are doing a good job.
Thanks, mate. You're not doing too bad either.
You sure?
So, yeah. Well, you're not trying hard enough if you don't crash.
There you go.
Yeah. All right, boys. So, yeah, thanks very much, and we'll speak to you again soon, I'm sure.
Thank you very much.
Cheers. Stay in there, and I'll talk to you both in a second. Right. So, yeah, that's it. Thanks very much for another great Speedway Chat show. And the end count for gold stars is 2,200 stars in one show. That's amazing. Thanks very much. I will go through and select someone this evening and probably post it tomorrow. Who won the hat? But thanks for everything, guys. You've been amazing. Lots of great comments. And we will see you next Tuesday. And we were supposed to have someone from SGP or FIM tonight, but they couldn't make it, so it could be next week. If that happens, it'd be great because Grand Prix start next weekend. So adios from now, and I'll speak to you soon.